Hey, and welcome to NUFC Talk. And this might be the peak of the season, mate. And we've got game of the season 3 weeks in.
I know, yeah. Game on it.
What a game. Looks like we've signed somebody as well. Like Pedro got announced a few hours ago, which we'll chat about. There's such a positive, as if Newcastle couldn't get any more positive. It just got even more positive with the performance and signings.
Yeah, it was cool, wasn't it? Bouncing. It was absolutely, to be fair, that was like, that I reckon that's probably game of the season.
Game of the season. St James's Park had more compliments from away fans again. That's Forest fans, Man City fans. Except that Live Score website ranked Newcastle like the 13th best atmosphere
I know.
in the Premier League, voted for by Man United fans who had never been to Old Trafford before.
Which will probably bounce in tonight because they're winning 1-0 against Liverpool. But
That's it, that's it.
Which is the only sad thing for me, that Man United suddenly look at it might be alright.
But to be fair, I think there's going to be a lot of fans also on the downer because they were probably hoping Captain Salah was going to save the, FPL team.
Like me, for instance.
There's still 45 minutes to do it, so he might go and bang in 4 goals to give us a respectable score. Well, how are you doing anyway?
Yeah, good man, good. Fresh off I was at the cricket on Friday down in Edgbaston, watching the Birmingham Phoenix versus Northern Superchargers.
The 100.
Yeah, the 100. It's good. Watched the women first and then the men afterwards. Northern Superchargers pumped the Birmingham Phoenix. So it was a bit one-sided. Like, I went there to be really excited to see Mo and Ali, Livingston and Matthew Wade, and then they're all out for collective like 11 runs. So
I'm afraid it's a good day on the beer then?
So many beers. So many. I was rough as a snipe was elbowed the next day. And then the train back, because we didn't realise when we booked, because initially we were going to go to
all the strikes.
It was the strikes on the Saturday. And I like pro the strikes, but I was in pro a 5.5 hour, four train journey home.
Yeah, it's a bit rough that.
And also, we had to get the 9:04 train because we think all the other ones were cancelled. The only one you could see was definitely when it was a 9:04. So we were there like
sweating buckets.
And 2 of the trains were roasting. The worst thing is we paid a fortune for the tickets, and nobody, because there's nobody working. Yeah. No one checks your tickets the whole time, basically. But good weekend. I'm feeling pretty much recovered now. Yeah. So
good. Well, we can talk about Sunday, because Sunday must have perked you up, mate.
Yeah.
Brought you on, made you feel better. But before we get into that, quickly, social media. If you're watching us on YouTube, thanks for the new subscribers. If you haven't done already, make sure you press the subscribe button, press the bell, and please do leave us a comment. It's a good way to support the channel. And just a little thank you for watching. If you're on Spotify or Apple or wherever, Google Podcasts, Anchor, so leave us a comment as well. Not a comment, leave us a review. 5-star review would be great. On Apple, you can actually leave a review as well. So please do let us know if you're enjoying the show. If it tells you if you're not enjoying the show, all helps algorithm. But yeah, cheers. And Twitter, what else? TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah.
NUFC Talk Pod. And then if you want to get us separately or individually, this is where you probably get us more for our individual thoughts, which is on Twitter. At Glenn_NUFC.
And at Giannis NUFC.
Cool. Should we get into this, mate?
Yeah. I'm excited to talk about this. This was like proper. I think Eddie Howe summed up a roller coaster.
Yeah. That was an incredible game. And I think a lot of Newcastle fans were fearing the worst after about 5 minutes in.
Yeah, because that is like a throwback goal to concede. I mean, that was proper awful. Like,
yeah, when you think of how much they've probably drilled and being told looking for them players like just drifting from the box and outside the box.
He's not even drifted. He sprinted he played the ball out the halfway line and he just like ran in. Like, he just ran past everybody. Like, I think Willock's probably the one that you'd say is cuttable because I think he's the one that's close to him. But
yeah, I said maybe Willock could have tracked back.
He didn't seem, does he? Didn't just pick it up fast enough.
And then I think it was like the first 10 minutes pretty much was all City. And I put a tweet about it, like, I love Dan Burn, but he was getting found out at left back again, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's he'll always be good one-on-one because he's not quick, but he's decent one-on-one, tackling wise.
You can stick a leg out and go 5 metre coverage.
That's one thing. Obviously, anything goes
was more the positional stuff.
That's what I was going to say. Aye. So all that sort of stuff, the really basic defending he's fine, but the positional stuff, it's just different. It's world apart being a fullback. It's when do you go press, especially at City. When do you press? When do you sit? When you tuck in? Like
because there was lots of times when they were crossing the ball out. There was it Ford he was up against? Who was on the right hand side? No, sorry, it was Silver.
Yeah.
There's times you're launching the ball across him. Like, where the fuck's the full back at?
Yeah.
Like, Dan Burn must have been drifting into like centre half now and again, but he had so much space down there, and a few times when De Bruyne came over there and just a 1-2, and there was
De Bruyne loves
so
in
much
that little inside right channel. He absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
He's so good in there.
I think a lot of Newcastle fans were fearing the most.
Yeah.
But fair play to Eddie, fair play to Newcastle. What they said on Match of the Day and most pundits is they didn't change the game plan. They continued being brave, and they still kept having a go at them. And if they give a blueprint of how to beat City.
Well, I think they exposed Kyle Walker and Cancelo tucking in big time. They exposed the fullbacks being so high, but also being really narrow.
Yeah. This was the first time I looked at Walker and thought, like, he can't cope. Like, Maxi had him on toast, and he had a torrid time. There's a few times he got into wrestling matches with Joe Linton, and I was pro Walker even when, like, Southgate used to go to the three centre halves and play him like the right of the three. Like, I really like Walker, but this is the first time. Everyone's entitled to a bad game, but God, he had a disaster one, didn't he?
I thought at one point like St. Maximin was retiring Kyle Walker and John Stones in the same game. I think I like Kyle Walker. I agree with you. I think Man City really miss him when he doesn't play because of the pace and recovery. But even the pace and recovery, like he looked like he was still getting found out. I mean, Maxi had him on toast, like from basically from the about 12 minutes onwards, till about like the 90th, well, the 80th minute at least.
He started flagging a bit then. But anyway, there's a point we actually forgot to miss. Sorry, the game could have been all said and done if Foden squared it. Now, that's the second time it's happened in 3 games now where Foden didn't square the ball to Haaland, who had it open, and you saw Pep go off.
Pep went mad, and Haaland was like, he put his arms out, but he didn't go mad. Give Haaland 2 or 3 months. If that's happened in 2 or 3 months' time, he's going absolutely bananas. Like,
isn't it funny that everyone's like, we haven't seen the best of Haaland yet. Played 3, scored 3.
And to be fair, that's a tap in for him. He's moving to exception, like he's moving. Even like, I know, probably jumping ahead, but the chance when Nick Pope when Nick Pope goes out and sort of smothers it. No, not that one.
Oh,
the one where De Bruyne put him through, he drops it off to De Bruyne and he just head down and he just knows the ball's coming. He's quick and he's quick in that first like 15 yards. He's rapid. Like. But he is something. But how much are you not already bored of the sort of media wankfest over him already though? Haaland. I mean, even when he's doing things that are like
begun yet.
Even when he's doing things that are like just like just a pass. Like, he was getting praised for his physicality. I was like, he's just a big guy. You can't praise him for being tall. I don't even praise Dan Burn because he can push Bernardo Silva over. I just think, it's a bit much for me. Like, but Miggy, like, I thought, did you not just think of the banner and all that, and then he skies that one over the bar? I was just like, nah.
I put a tweet out there summing up the first half, and I want to mention this now because one of the lines did refer to Miggy, and it wasn't like just getting Miggy or Grealish, who's, are you watching this or anything like that. It was Miggy still flaps in the box.
He does, like.
There's a chance he could have laid off a few passes. Like, fair enough, he scored the goal with his friggin', was it his thigh or his fucking left bollock or something like. But that one, he should have put that in the back of the net, should have put a hole in the net. Like, that's fallen to most of the players. That's going in.
Yeah.
Unless Edison pulls off a class save.
Had echoes of it was actually Man City in the FA Cup. Maxi pulls it back. Dwight Gale, same position, right foot, exactly the same, just from the right foot. Echoes of that, like.
Yeah, they're both probably still up in orbit now, aren't they? Dwight Gale and Miggy's ball.
Yeah, I think Miggy had a good game. Like, I think he was, but that's always what he lacks. He lacks composure. He lacks the end product.
I think he probably did so well in pre-season. It's like there was no pressure on him. Yeah. Like, there's not the big crowds. It's not like Miggy's missed again or Miggy's got to start scoring. Like, pretty much what we're talking about right now. His work ethic, the graft he gets through, the pressing, like it's always head down. Like you can never fault him. Even when he's playing bad, he still tries. It's never against his work ethic. It's just it's his in composure in the box.
He's got like if it was FIFA, it'll be like 4.
Yeah.
That's only if it's with your left ball in your. Yeah, he's likeable because you'll never see him throw his hands in the air. He'll never lose the ball and just like, oh, right, that's it then. He will always graft and endeavour to get it back. So that's why he's likeable. And players that try, you give them so much more leeway.
Isn't it mad to think that he scored like goal of the month against Palace?
Aye.
And now, which was a class finish, a class touch. And now we're saying that he lacks composure and ability to finish. Is that people because they weren't expecting him to score that one, so you had a pop or what?
I don't know. Like he's not like technically bad or anything. It's just I think it's that composure. I think like it's like Morata. Remember Morata who used to play for Chelsea and he was at Real Madrid and Juve. Oh, yeah, he's in that person. The ball like just pops up to him. He's finishing. Give him any time, and he's just like he just looks awful. Mm-hmm. I used to say Mickey sees that ball coming and thinks like blast it, but if it just pops up, he probably finishes it. But that was a chance. That was the first one Maxi laid on. You could see Maxi was like furious when it didn't get finished. Like,
and Maxi is a different player, isn't he? Now he's learned how to pass. Like amazing.
Yeah, amazing. He looks like he's developing into everything like every Newcastle fan hoped he could be.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
I think everybody was hoping like this pre-season with Eddie Howe and a different coach, a different set of tactics, was hoping everyone was just going to show him where the pass button was, and now we can do that. And you mentioned this, and I know you probably mentioned it first when you brought it up on the pod a few times. How more dangerous is Maxi now? He's running and like he's playing on that shoulder, like
getting in behind, man. Yeah. That's like I couldn't understand why that wasn't part of his game. He's so quick. Mm-hmm. There won't be many defenders that in a foot race will catch him.
But you'd say Walker was probably up there. Fast.
He's probably the quickest. Tarek Lamptey.
I was going to say Lamptey, but he didn't even start against at Brighton either that game. But yeah, Walker, Lamptey.
They're probably the 2 quickest, like you'd say. But yeah, he actually now that was obviously a game plan. It was obviously a game plan. Hit the channels early, get the ball over top of Walker, especially because it's Maxi. Not you would probably say if we had somebody like Maxi on the right hand side, you'd just say Cancelo's the one because he gets even further forward.
Yeah.
But the difference is with Maxi, you've got someone who can carry the ball 35 yards every time he gets it.
Yeah.
I saw it. He tweeted out. He puts on his Instagram. He puts like he's promoting his own sort of self promotion, and it's just. He's like 2 minutes of about one game. Honestly, his class. Like I was watching the whole. Like he's just little 2 minutes of him on the ball in that game.
Yeah,
and like he actually was one of the best. It's one of the best performances I've seen from like a Newcastle winger. I can like remember it. It was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. He was like unplayable.
He was. City didn't have an answer for him, and at one point, like. My notes were City can't cope. They just didn't have an answer. And off that relentless wave after wave after wave after wave came along with England's got to be backup striker for the World Cup. Callum Wilson, what that first touch.
Yeah, it's class.
Everyone expects him to go one way, which would have took 2 defenders with him. Takes the touch. Diaz is being sold when I think he's still actually running down leaders now. And then to take the shot with the outside of the right boot and put it back.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Brilliant finish that. Like
I know
there's not many strikers having that first touch and then to be able to take the composure and that finish.
At that pace as well. It was all over in a blink of an eye when it was so fast. Yeah, it's class from Maxi again. Lovely counter attack. The fact that it was Diaz as well, who's one of the top 2 or 3 in the Premier League, and he's just like done all ends up.
Class.
Yeah, was brilliant.
Because just think if that one goal, which Wilson got disallowed for dangerous high play, which got nowhere near his head, That would be Wilson 3-3.
Yeah, solid start.
Mm-hmm.
We said it before. If you can play 30 games, like you get to like 15.
The worrying part is he came off on 70th minute because he was feeling his hamstring. For every much you can sing Wilson's praises,
he's made glass, like, isn't he?
So
and by the way, like, I stand by it. He's better holding the ball up than Chris Wood. Like, he doesn't win many headers, but he doesn't have to. He pins defenders so well.
He takes down his chest so well.
But like, so Nick Pope will launch like a 70-yard ball, and where a lot of people will be like, even like a lot of times Shearer just get the flick ons. None of that. He just pins his defender and brings it down. It's
class. His core strength is brilliant.
Yeah. But no, he I thought he had a brilliant his first sort of 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or at least for like first half, I thought he was class.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Last talking point of the first half is Shaw penalty where John Stones came ploughing into the back of him. I don't think it was deliberate. I don't think it was with intent to hurt or whatever, but it was just clumsy, and it was still an elbow to the back of his head. It's a penalty.
It's a foul anywhere else on the pitch.
Yeah,
it's a foul anywhere else on the pitch. If that's Shaw doing that to John Stones in City's box, so if Shaw's attacking and he does it, John Stones get the free kick all day long for that. It's anywhere on the pitch, middle of the park, anywhere else, that is given as a foul.
I know we had VAR overturned two huge decisions with us with the Mingy goal and obviously the Trippier red card. I still think the referee had an absolute howler.
But that's my first note, basically.
Give them loads.
Yeah, it was the ref. Like, I thought the ref was not just like poor, but it was very City. I was trying. I do try and look at the game and think, okay, was that soft for us? Was that soft for?
I've started doing that more since we've done the pod, so I don't sound like just a ranting Newcastle fan.
But like there was that, I tweeted this, like there was the free kick that who was it? I think was it Longstaff giveaway on De Bruyne, when he tried to break away, not the foul that Trippier did, but Maxi was in the corner of the ball. Kyle Walker goes through him, ball goes out, no free kick, and then Rodri's trying to get a fucking piggyback off Big Joe, and I'm like, and nothing was given, and then there's a little break and there's a free kick, and
we even go back to the first half. Bruno picked up an early yellow card for basically stopping a counter attack. The same happened the other way around with Rodri, and it was just a foul, no yellow card.
I treat that out as well. Rodri, he gets away. He's like the new Fernandinho. He gets away with so much. He must have before. I think he did pick up a booking in the end. He must have done 6 fouls before booking. Do you know, in the olden days in the 90s, the ref would be like 1, 2, 3. Those 3 fouls. There's your booking.
Yeah.
Like he's like 9 fouls in.
So, but I've got no more fingers, so unfortunately, it's going to have to be yellow.
But he's currently on Jonathan's back.
Then did you see Liam Gallagher had commented saying, I can't believe Newcastle's finally bought over a ref, or Newcastle's bought the ref.
The oil money paid by the refs already. Yeah.
Like,
that's a bit tongue in cheek, I reckon, from Gallagher. Like, but for me, that was definitely a penalty, and I reckon if he gives that, VAR doesn't overturn that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he sees a pen, but the referee's bottled given that because of Man City.
Agreed as well.
It's not as much of a penalty as when Edison nearly broke Fraser in half. It still baffles me how that wasn't given. Like,
cause I tweeted saying I can't wait to start getting the top 6 or the big 6 like bias, because it must be more pressure when the clubs have followings worldwide, and I don't even think of like, oh no, I can't get against Man City. The champions have won 4 times and.
Remember the Rodri handball last season? It just bounced up and he was like, wait.
He was playing basketball for a second, didn't he? And I don't want to go that way.
No, that was it. Didn't get given. But first half, all in all, I was just like sort of shaking. It was too much to cope with. It was.
I think there's it's funny when you see myself included, because I'm terrible at grammar, English, spelling, but you can see there's that many Newcastle fans tweeting with spelling mistakes and grammars and exclamation marks and capitals in the middle of nowhere, where you can just see that they're just texting frantically like, oh my god, we are currently beating Man City. Like,
It was it was class. Like, I thought for all it was brilliant. 60 minutes or whatever, 50 odd minutes in, I was just like, blow the whistle, just like blow the whistle now, because I remember seeing the missus being like,
shut up, I'm watching the football.
I know. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
No, I remember.
We would never say that.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't watch the football again. Wouldn't be allowed out here anymore.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Now I remember sitting there, I was like, she's like, I can't believe you beat them, and I was like, 6 minutes and this could be 5-3 Man City.
Yeah.
Like that is like, that's how good they are. But for all they are an amazing side, and for all they started to dominate the ball, even when they were dominating the ball a bit in the second half, we were still a threat throughout until about 70 minutes, and it was a bit of back to the wall then.
Yeah. Well, let's do the Trippier goal, and we'll get to that in a bit, mate. So, this was another maxi run. Stones brought him down. Who was the commentator again? The defender? Van Sky.
Andy Hitchcliffe.
Is that who it was?
He's the worst. Like,
I normally don't like him, but I didn't think he did a bad job for this one, because I thought he called it pretty fairly. And for this tackle, if you watch it on Sky, you're saying Stones has gone with his one leg.
Yeah.
Whichever one knows, you've got to come with your left leg to hook it round him to get the ball. If you're going with your right leg, you're going to clean the man out. So for a defender who is paid that much money to play at the highest level, anyway, you give a free kick away, and
he's always going to be a liability, John Stones.
Trippier and Shah stepped up for it, and Shah walked over. He almost like, like the school kid in the background, like just trying to get involved with the action, and you saw Trippier go, "I'll take it." Like Shah's like,
yeah, there was
okay, and just slowly step backwards.
I was trying to lip read. I think he said like, "I got this."
I thought he said, "I'll take this." Something along them lines.
And then he's like, and then like Shah gave him a tap on the back. Was like, oh, yeah. And I think he was like pretending to do the thing where he walks back as if he's going to take it, but then Trippier like laid the ball out with like clearly taking it.
Yeah.
What a free kick, mind.
I thought he was going to go the other corner.
So did Edison.
But yeah,
Edison took a step. But I don't even think if he doesn't take that step, he's got to do really well, because that is like, it was whipped right into the side netting.
Yeah, that's you don't get free kicks better than that. Like,
yeah, it was an absolute worldie, because it's far out as well. It wasn't edge of the box sort of. It
was like what, 25 to 30 in that
40,
range.
40. Like.
Yeah, I heard it was 45.
Isn't he done off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute belter. Like, he's got the Midas touch. He took 4 free kicks, scored 3 of them. Even the one he hit down the middle against Villa. But yeah, absolute belter. Like,
yeah, and that was I remember like cheering and shouting so much that like even like Andrew's like, "What's going on? What's happening?" Because
shut up watching the football.
Yeah, that's why none of us are ever going to watch football again.
Yeah, it was mad. Like, so it was at that point.
It's one of them games where I'm gutted I didn't get tickets for this one.
I know,
because it would have been a day to be there, but for the family commitments, couldn't get myself along to this one. But yeah,
well, I'd spent 48 hours at the cricket. Probably wasn't getting away with that. But no, at that point, instantly, this is the level that Man City are at. As soon as that went in, like in the 30 seconds of like, this is amazing. The 30 seconds after, like watching the replay, like what a free kick.
Say, yeah.
I was instantly like, oh my god, it's Man City though. Like I couldn't be even like happy. I couldn't be like bouncing it 3-1, because I just thought
there was a stat which came up in the first half where the number of times City's gone behind by 2 goals, and it still showed that you hadn't lost any of the games, or just how many times they'd make comebacks. Was some remarkable stat. And as soon as it went to 3-1, as much as I was like ecstatic, I thought back to the last game of the season.
Well, yeah, I mean the pressure on that
against Villa. Was it Villa? Came back against
Wolves. I think it was Wolves. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, but the pressure on in that
it was Villa, because there was all the hype that Stevie G could finally win Liverpool a title.
Right. Oh, Slippy G.
Yeah, he still slipped up.
Yeah, I mean the pressure on to do it then, like, is always every opportunity to do it now, and like the Haaland's goal, It's honking in it as well. It's just shit in it over at the back post and that. It's just.
But then it's just the fact that they took the second corner so quick. Like,
I mean, John Stones takes the corner, man. That's like the level of like just.
But they know just to get going, play at high tempo. If you're constantly playing high tempo around the box, it's hard for teams to keep up with you. And yeah, they scored that goal because they played such high tempo and didn't give Newcastle a chance to get organised and get set where they wanted to be, and piled the back post, which has become more of a common thing right now. Yeah. Haaland, right place, right time, and
he would be, wouldn't he?
Yeah. That made it 3-2.
What do you think of Botman throughout?
I think he had a solid performance. Like, I don't think he did anything massively wrong. Like,
yeah, he looked a bit shaky at sometimes, didn't he, on the ball? And I reckon that's like home debuts, like that crowd. That I reckon he was probably. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he comes out and be like, yeah, that was. I wasn't expecting that.
You still don't remember he's 21. Like, he's still a young lad, and like, I'm sure the games he's played in previously, that you're not going to get many atmospheres like that playing against arguably one of the best football teams in club football teams in the world.
Yeah,
I think he did a good performance. Like
it was a bit made out on social media as a little bit like of like he was maybe a bit shaky with the ball and stuff. But what he did always do though, he still the level up the jump above having from even Dan Burn in that position, who I think was obviously brilliant for us last season. He fires it into Wilson. He fired one into like Wilson's feet across the deck. It cut like City in half basically. Yeah. And that's going to be a hallmark of how we play. Like that, I think Eddie Howe's bought him for that. Like when you talk about a ball playing defender, that is going to be so important for us getting up the pitch quickly and getting into midfield and
if we've got Kieran Clark or Lascelles playing, yeah, he's another level, man.
He is another level, yeah.
So that was 61 minutes, 64 minutes. Silva with what outrageous
pass, like.
X-rated pass, KDB, like, is he the best midfielder in the Premier League?
He's the best midfielder in the world, mate.
In the world?
He's the best player in the world. I think he's the best player in the world right now.
Best player in the world?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I think he's the best player in the world.
That's a
full stop.
I know you're a huge KDB.
I'm a massive KDB fan. I think he's somehow. I think everyone thinks he's amazing, but still, I think like he's underrated. Still, I think he's like Salah.
Do you think he's one of the players where people won't realise how good he is until he's not there?
Yeah, probably.
Because he seems to be the only player who is like immune from the Pep roulette.
Yeah, he's ever present, isn't he?
Yeah, him and I think it'll be obviously Haaland now, but it just shows you the positions are going to be still rotating.
I mean, the pass he puts through for the Haaland one that I mentioned earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
That's like it's a simple. It's not a particularly hard pass, but it's hard. The fact that Haaland just turns head down, knows
the ball's
that if I open my eyes and in a second's time, the ball's going to be in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
It did not burn Botman off. Like that's like, I mean, I don't think Botman's blessed with a lot of pace, but like that first 10 yards, like
he's not an overall slow centre half, though, is he?
No, I don't think so. But
slower out there.
I don't think there's many centre halves that are keeping up with Haaland over that. Like Van Dijk's quick, but I think Van Dijk's like probably quick over long distances.
Got big stride.
Big long stride. But whereas Haaland is just head down, like his appetite to score goals is like so obvious.
Yeah,
he's desperate to score goals.
You can see his reactions are just so quick and crisp, and I suppose that's why he's the best centre forward in the world.
He's the biggest threat to Shearer's record, like.
Yeah, he's still super early in his career, isn't he?
Yeah, free of injuries, but yeah, then that pass. I mean, the icing on the cake is that pass goes through Willock's legs. like KDB's pass. No, it doesn't just
notice that.
It doesn't just split like Newcastle in half and put like Silva through. It goes
literally split Willock.
Willock's like trying to close his legs, like goes through his legs, and then the Bernardo Silva like cool as you like just Nick Pope had such a good game as well. You don't concede 3 goals very often and have because that save when he pushes Haaland at the post.
Yeah, then the Haaland 1-on-1. There was the Foden chance early on, just off the top of my head.
When he came out, he smothers, I think it's Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
And he gets there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some good goalkeeping.
Crosses all day long. So yeah, he had a class game. Still conceded 3, but
the Haaland one, the first Haaland one that he touched on the post, he gets just enough on it to get on the post.
Mm-hmm.
That touch from Haaland is unbelievable. Like little touch and then right foot, and then what a save that is.
I think Pope's starting to show now why he's gone into the number 1 spot straight away, and he definitely is a step up on Dubravka.
Yeah, clear. It's actually, I think it's comfortably he's better.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people are saying now he's going to start pushing Pickford for number 1, but I can't see that because I think Southgate sticks with his boys that he likes, doesn't he?
Yeah, I also think Pickford. He might have tiny arms, but he is very good with the ball at his feet. That's one thing that's what I think.
But then he was talking about Pope was as good as his feet in the step up. And that's one of the reasons they brought him in.
I think
before the game, because before the game when Pope was warming up, when the camera was on him, it was all his footwork, wasn't it? Take the ball with his right, taking the ball with his left.
Yeah.
And whoever it was that was chatting was saying, "Oh, that's why he's been brought in because he's a step up with Dubravka with his feet."
Yeah, I think they made the point that you probably didn't see how good he is with the ball at his feet because he played for Burnley and all that he was put down the line. But no, I think he is definitely a step up on Dubravka, just all round. Like he commands his box. I didn't think he was that commanding. I didn't think he'd come out and just takes everything, doesn't he?
I think subconsciously now, going a bit deeper here, when I used to see Dubravka come charging out, I'm like, if he doesn't punch this, he's going to miss it, which he had done a few in the past, and he leaves his net wide open. Because every time I saw Pope coming out, I was like, he's got this, he's obviously read it and thinks he can take it. But every time Dubravka was like, oh, fucking hell, please get like your fist on this, and otherwise your net's open.
Aye, Dubravka, for all he pull off some absolute worldies, and he would have some banging games.
Yeah.
He definitely had 2 or 3 clangers in him.
And this is not like a jump on Dubravka moment. I think that's like a compliment to Pope, that the confidence he gives fans, like when he comes out for the ball, he obviously knows he's going to get it, not just like hopefully I can get this. And still when who was it that played the ball back, a short pass, and he came out and like the sweeper keeper rolling.
Yeah, it was Longstaff.
Longstaff had just come on the pitch, hadn't he?
Aye.
God, that was
he was sharp off his line money.
Because I didn't think he was going to get there at first.
I know, yeah. I was thinking that would be so typical Longstaff comes on.
Yeah, gives them the pass. Anyway, let's jump to minute 76. As Giannis has declared, the best midfielder in the world breaks free on a counter-attack, and our captain Trippier gives him a tap on the knee with his laces.
Yeah.
Brings him down. And all day long, I think, yellow card, fair enough. We've seen it happen 3 times already in the game, it's a yellow card.
Yeah.
The red card came on, like, it was bonkers to see.
I couldn't understand why the red came out initially. Before we get into that, I don't think it should get that far. Longstaff should bring him down, 100%. Longstaff brings him down before.
I can't remember that part.
It's just before he goes past Longstaff, and Longstaff sort of steps away and just bring him down. You don't take the book in there, like it's the middle of the pitch, and it forces Trippier's hand. So it shouldn't get that far. But yeah, I couldn't understand why the red was given. And then when I saw the replay, I was a little bit worried because it was high.
Yeah.
But he was saved by the fact it was like two end little flick. It was. I mean, there's some still frames where it looks like it's. I know you can make anything look bad if you sort of certain stills, but there are some still frames where it looks semi-bad, but I don't even think it looks bad in them.
Because I think it might be Talk Sport where they were comparing it to the challenge last season between, was it Alan or
Maxi, yeah.
And Maxi. And I didn't think that was a red card, that was a yellow card, I thought, because it's very similar.
But the difference in that one, the reason I thought I could have been a red, is he's when he's making contact with Maxi, he's doing it with his studs and he's off the ground. That's the difference. Like he was in less control. I don't think Trippie was out of control. He was just reaching.
Trippie's interview after the game was very good as well.
Yeah, it's class. Yeah,
where he's like, "I've already apologised to Kevin. I want to win the game. He was going to break free. I had to take him down, so I used the outside of my boot. I'm not the type of player to go and hurt someone." I love the fact he was just so factual, man.
And he also said something like, I'd never want to hurt anybody, but my team comes first.
He said, I want to win the game.
Yeah, it was class.
For Paul, it was such a great way he handled the situation. Like, of course I had to foul him, I had to take him down.
Yeah.
I wanted to win the game. He was going to break free, so class.
Jimmy Carragher put a tweet out being something about it, that'll be a red card in the future. I agree. I think those are going to be red cards in the future.
You think?
I actually think, and football purists might think I'm mad, I think they should be red cards.
Oh,
I do. I
think it's part of the game.
I think the cynical foul. There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than like, see if that's the other way around. Then that's Bruno getting it. He's one pass away from putting Maxi in. If he already put Maxi in, or he already put Wilson in, and Wilson gets fouled, it's a red card. Last man. But because he the pass before it.
Mate, we'll have now to talk about if that was.
I do. I think in the future there'll be red cards. Definitely, and I think there should be red cards. It's big, it's bold, but it's bold. I know it is,
mate,
but
Graham Souness will be banging this table right now, telling you it's a man's game.
Yeah. Wait, how's he on TalkSport now?
Because of daft comments like that. Like, who can we put on with Simon Jordan? I'm reading his book at the moment. It's pretty good. Simon Jordan, Jim White. Who can we get in a room that's going to piss more people off? Or throw Danny Murphy in there as well.
Yeah, Danny Mills. Gabby.
Yeah.
Both the Dannys.
Yeah. And Graham Souness.
Yeah, he's awful. I generally thought, like, when they got rid of the Soccer Saturday a bunch.
What's Murphy? Have I confused myself there?
Danny Mills and Danny Murphy, they were both.
Yeah.
Danny Mills is worse, like, but.
So, Souness, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought I did think that they were going to be transitioning him out, like, because I just think he's an awful. I mean, at least Keane can say some things that, can be like, oh, come on, mate, the game's moved on, and I get that, but Keane can also pundit well and have some good opinions. Souness is just like from an Barry Fry in there or something. Do you know what I mean?
He still commentates and talks about the game like when he played.
Exactly, yeah. And when you played, have you seen that there's like when he absolutely nails somebody like knee height, and the commentator's like, that's a booking. You'd be an 8-match ban now.
I'd stood to the knee, wasn't he?
And Souness has the nerve to like point at his own, like to be like, look at me.
He knocked my sock down.
He sucks down in a minute. Yeah, but no, that's my opinion on that. I think it'll be red card in the future. But right now, that's definitely not a red card. It was indicative of a poor refereeing display, like.
And I think that this yellow card there, well, what was VAR turned to a yellow card. That was the point where you realised Newcastle legs were starting to go.
Yeah.
Look, and this is not like a hammer on like Newcastle standard, because they went at it. The defence had to be on point. The counter attack, they were literally just sprinting the whole time. So they were at 100% to keep up with one of the best possession teams in world football. So you couldn't start the tire at some point. And that was at 76 minutes. The game went to 97 minutes. It was 20 minutes of backs to the wall. I
know. And there was extra couple of minutes added on at the end there. I was like, where did you get this from?
That was because Botman smashed the ball and Burns.
I was down. Burns didn't take 4 minutes to get up. I was like, where's he having this extra 3.5 minutes from? The work Willock and Bruno and Joelinton got through is like staggering. Like the graph they got through. Obviously, Maxi gets through a shit ton of carrying the ball forward.
Yeah. Can I give you some Joelinton stats?
Yeah.
Here we go. You'll enjoy these, mate.
Of course, mate.
So, Joelinton, 39 touches.
Yeah.
23 passes.
Yeah.
Passing accuracy, 89%. He got hit 2 out of 3 long balls, which is one thing we said last season. That was something which lacked from his game.
Yeah.
He created 2 chances, 1 big chance, won 5 out of 5 duels, had 5 ball recoveries, 3 interceptions, 2 clearances, and 1 block shot.
Man's a beast, isn't he?
And underneath was like, #monster.
Yeah.
He seems to be getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, his presence on the pitch is like, he's massive now. Like,
yeah, you can start seeing some players are a bit more wary of him as he's getting more confident.
He's also gone from being like this little puppy that you thought like when you looked at him, he just looked beaten down in a way when he was playing up top. Whereas now he's like this absolute animal that is also all of a sudden kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
No, he's at the referee all the time. He doesn't mind having a dig at anybody. Like, yeah, he's unbelievable. Like, I still stand by it. I think I've never seen the transition from somebody being so shit at football to being so good at football.
It's not even like he was just a bad left winger, or Bruce had him in the wrong formation, or the tactics didn't suit him. Like, he was just bad at football, and his confidence was just gone. And whereas right now you can see he's just loving life, and you see where he brought the fan round his house.
Yeah,
you know, the lad that got Joel. He's like,
yeah, it's absolute class.
Brought him around the house for a game of footy, and to give his son a t-shirt, a signed shirt or something.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fan engagement recently. Like, and I think it's just generally really good to see. Like, they're out. Total side note, it seems like a really likeable squad of players. I think that Eddie Howe's done really, really. He shipped out some of the bad eggs, or some of the, and also some of the shy players. But also he seems to have kept the characters. And one thing that's massively important, clearly, is when they're buying people, is like buying the right sort of characters to. Mm-hmm. Bruno, like, I've seen that other interview with Bruno where he's like interviewed by some other, I don't know who it's interviewed by. He just comes across so good that he's just like, all I want to do is work hard for the team, and that's just
his caption was see how my English has improved in 5 months.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, and like you can understand like everything he's talking about. There's nothing like where it's like mental backwards English, but like
it's better than most of the NUFC hashtag.
Yeah, have you heard how I speak? I've listened back to some of these shows.
Yeah, big Joe, like he's like, we cannot be the same team without him. Mm-hmm. We really can't. Like,
remarkable, absolutely remarkable. Did you see who the Premier League app gave man of the match to?
Aye, Haaland.
So you vote for it.
Oh, is that why he's voted for?
Because I was like, how on earth? And if you click on it, it shows you the votes breakdown. So Haaland was voted man of the match by the app, which basically means it's fans from all over the world who support whoever's top of the league.
Yeah.
But yeah, who's your man of the match?
Maxi, yeah. There were some like stellar performances throughout. Like,
mine was between Maxi and Pope.
I thought Pope was class. I thought Joe Willock is like an unsung hero at the minute. Like putting the shifts in. Like, he was very good. Midfield three were very good. Bruno. When Bruno got booked, I was like, oh, he loves it. He loves getting his foot in. Like, I was worried, but he's still for somebody who's, because he's not tall, for somebody slight, for somebody pretty. He's not got a massive frame. Mm-hmm. He doesn't often win the ball back a lot. Joe Linton should, because Joe Linton's like an animal and he's way bigger than most midfielders in the Premier League. Mm-hmm. But like, Bruno's not. He's like tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wins the ball back in one-on-one duels as well, and he just comes out with the ball. He's just got that ability of being really good at football. Yeah, that's what I figured out.
So, what we've decided over watching him since January is Bruno's good at football.
Yeah.
And good at midfield.
Yeah. I think Bruno might be really good at football.
Yeah, I think he's good in the midfield.
I just love him so much. Like,
just notice now we're coming up to 44 minutes in. We've got Pedro to talk about. We've got Tranmere. We've got Wolves. So we'll split this into 2 pods. We'll do Pedro after we finish this game. So if you're listening, we'll drop another pod into your podcast feed the day after. So this will hit on Monday night, Tuesday morning, depending on whereabouts in the world you're listening, which we can actually say now. So if you're listening in Australia, what time will that be? That'll be your Monday, Tuesday night.
Wednesday afternoon, isn't it?
Depends how many beers you had. So yeah, we'll drop one in Monday night, Tuesday morning, and then the other one will follow 24 hours after. So let's go on to any more about that game, mate, before we move on to Pedro.
Nah, just maybe about like, the only thing I would say is the comments of the players. Eddie Howe, Bruno.
He's the manager now.
Right, thanks, mate. He could still play. He'd do a job.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe.
He actually did. Have you seen that picture? He did it where Eddie Howe's bringing on Eddie Howe.
It was class. And there's another one that somebody else shared that I noticed, because I saw, I shared, somebody, they'd put it on Instagram, but somebody else at Eddie Howe, Eddie What and Eddie When, and it was Eddie Howe, Matt Ritchie, but Emil Kraft in the background. Eddie Howe, Eddie Hugh, Eddie What, or something like that. I thought that was absolutely class.
Because we've joked about that before I don't even think it's been on the pod now how much Richie does look a bit like Eddie Howe, but that picture was just
it was class.
Perfect. The facial expression. Well, yeah.
And he didn't come on, did he?
No, he didn't. Because that's when Burn got blasted by a bottom, so they brought on Kraft. Kraft came on for the last couple of minutes.
But the only thing I would say is the last point would be about just the comments, like the difference in mentality of the players. How who's the manager then?
Try to keep it right, mate.
Maxi, Callum Wilson, and Bruno. I've heard of all them speak after the game on various sort of things, and every one of them said like disappointment. Everyone said they'd been like, "What a great game, brilliant." Yeah. It was great and all that sort of stuff, but also it's sort of tinged with some disappointment as well because we wanted to win the game, which is like if you think of how far like they've come as a team, the fact that they actually
we've played Man City. They'd have that thought that we've just played the Premier League champions who won the league. Was it 4 times out of 5 now?
4 out of 5, yeah.
And we're disappointed we didn't beat them.
Yeah, I mean that shows like where they're at, and it shows like what kind of Howe's instilling in them. Like, so yeah,
class.
What a game!
Absolute class. Game of the season. Newcastle 3, Manchester City 3. So then, let's do the Pedro and we'll leave Tranmere. Like we said, Tranmere and Wolves preview. We'll put this in another podcast feed. We'll even throw some FPL crack in there because we'll have the Liverpool football score by then as well. And about 7 o'clock UK time, it was breaking news. Or depending on what feed it was breaking / not breaking that Pedro has signed for Newcastle.
Well, the deal's agreed, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
25 million, 5 million add-ons, 10% sell-on clause, and he's signed into 2028.
Yeah.
I think it's just the medical to go through. And I can't remember if it was yourself. I was talking to one of my other pals where we were saying it looked like it was going to go through on was it Sunday or Saturday when Watford was supposed to play, and Pedro had pulled out the game with a sore ankle.
Aye.
So I was like, hang on, he doesn't want to pick up anything if he's chancing him getting a big contract in Newcastle. Last thing he needs is a big injury.
I think
because on them injuries there, sorry, like you got Carlos Villa's just picked up one and he's a new signing. You've got unfortunately Gini Wijnaldum. I'm seeing that news.
No, not.
That was mentioned this afternoon. Roma training, broke his leg.
Oh no!
Yeah, he's going to miss the World Cup.
Oh, that's so sick. That like.
Yeah. So it is a thing, isn't it?
You train as well.
Yeah.
You'd be fear. You'd be raging. Maybe it was him.
But yeah, anyway, so I'm going off track here. But yeah, Pedro pulled out with a sore ankle, so that's what I was thinking.
Well, if it does, I think Fab said it. Fabrizio, his name is Romano. Once he said those, once he says the words, "Here we go."
Here we go.
He knew more than Brighton knew. when the Brighton was it selling Basuma or something?
It was Cucurella.
That was Cucurella.
Chelsea had put out a statement and they basically copied and pasted it and changed a few words.
No, it's nothing agreed. And Fabrizio, he's like, "Here we go."
And then the next day, he's like, "No, he has signed."
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you, right?
Yeah.
How many players are leaving? He's a proper in the know account. Like he is the in the know account in my eyes. So, he's as trusted as the yellow ribbon across Sky Sports News in my eyes. Like that's the level I see about these days. Yeah. But no, I think if it does all go through, quality signing, you can see how good a signing it seems. What the Watford fans are saying about it.
I was just going to mention that. Yeah.
Of the 3 players that they had, the attacking players have got like. Well, the good attacking players have got Ismail Sarr, Dennis and Joao Pedro.
The Sarr Villa thing has collapsed.
Yes, which is interesting, but the Watford fans seem to be saying they were sad to see him go. He's the one they didn't want to see go.
Yeah, so maybe Pedro,
which is interesting because I thought Sarr would have been because he's got a bit more service in there.
But then do you maybe think like. Do you know when we used to joke about like we always like Maxi to have a bad game now and again so people didn't think he was too good?
Yeah.
Maybe like Pedro was like their version because all the noise coming from Watford fans is
they're gutted with this one, yeah.
He's technical, he's classy, leaves everything on the pitch. He gives 100%. Like if he gets subbed up, it's because the tank's empty.
Yeah.
And I'm be honest, we mentioned this a few weeks ago. Like I didn't know a great deal about him except he scored a header against us and
I think he's quite versatile. He can play, like, he looks like a player can play up top or can play out wide, which obviously fits in with a basic what we need. Because if Wilson's fit, you can play out wide, and if Wilson's not fit, you can play up top. So it gives us a bit of versatility, which I think is important because, yeah, if we bring in Wood or Murphy on, either one.
Yeah, Wood's like
Deadwood. So
seeing him coming. So you did there. Sorry, it took a second to drop there.
So
seeing him having been on for the last 20 minutes versus the last few minutes, you could see the drop off, couldn't you?
Yeah, it's staggering. He really isn't good enough. But we all know why that deal was done, and when I've no issue with us forking out for him and us having him and us still be in the Premier League. So
is what it is. Yeah.
But this one seems to be one that it takes a couple of boxes. He's obviously young, which is clearly we are signing young talent, which
20-year-old,
which is something that Dan Ashworth has done quite a lot at Brighton.
Young Brazilian.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Maybe we're going to be like, Wolves are trying to be Portugal. We're trying to be Brazil.
They had 7 players starting and 2 on the bench, and their manager had Portuguese.
That's a stat I've got down for the next pod, actually, yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
But yeah, so...
If you listen to the pod and you hear that stat brought up on the next episode, just act as equally surprised.
I'll be like, what, Glenn?
Yeah.
So...
Jan, you're not going to believe it. Sorry.
He's young, which obviously I think fits what Dan Ashworth is. He seems to have signed a lot of young talent with scope that they grow. So that he ticks that box as well. For Howe, he's obviously versatile. He's quick. I think in the sort of that word of transitions, which used to be I thought it was a counter attack, but
I know. Yeah,
apparently it's transition these days.
It's like recycling the balls and you what you mean? Get it back in again.
Duels won.
Yeah, duels won. No.
Yeah, I thought the game's gone mad. But next we'll be getting red cards for cynical fouls, But
like class of professional fouls now.
Nah, get them off me.
I'm waiting for sin bins. Like in rugby where they have a plastic chair.
No, would you?
Yeah, bring in a sin bin, sit him on a plastic
but
chair.
Sit in front of the away fans. Get pelted. But getting back to Joao Pedro, I think it ticks all the boxes of what we need. He's probably somebody who isn't going to be pissing and moaning too much if he's not starting 30 out of 38 games. I think he's somebody who probably happen to be involved in enough, but also maybe doesn't mind sitting the bench now and then. So I think
there's even one Norwich account was saying that they can see him being sold in the future for 100 million. I think he's going to be that good. I think there's that much potential.
That's rich from a Norwich fan.
No, not Norwich.
No, I saw that he said something like he'll be £100 million player at some point. Yeah, that's
class.
Yeah, so I think it's a brilliant signing. I thought the Madison deal would get done. I don't know why, but I did think this one would get done.
Well, let's just talk. We've got a few minutes before we wrap up this pod. Other transfers which is getting mentioned. Amanda went down to crack on with the Chelsea head honchos, didn't he? So we were from in the nose that you can read. We inquired about 4 players, which was Pulisic, Hudson, Odoi, Conor Gallagher. And who's the fourth one? I just forgot there.
Who is the fourth one? I don't know.
I couldn't just talk to them. I think.
So I think first of all, Hudson Odoi, I think the jury's out personally. I don't think he is that good. I think he's a versatile player, plays right or left. I could probably play it if we ever wanted to go into 3 at the back. He could play at full back because he did it under Tuchel. But I still think the jury's out. I don't rate him that highly. There's nothing I've been overly impressed with him personally. So Pulisic, I think, is a player I would absolutely have Pulisic 100%. Yeah, definitely. Conor Gallagher, I think, fits perfectly because I'm a big Conor Gallagher fan. He's got an eye for goal, but also he's got that box-to-box bit. He fits in how Eddie Howe wants to sort of combative it because he does win the ball back. He is a grafter. Yeah. He's a bit probably got less pace than Joe Willock, but probably got a better eye for goal than Joe Willock, and is probably better offensively. And but probably in a similar mould, this kind of engine room midfielder. So I would, if I was to pick over those 3, I'd be definitely 100% to either of those on loan, Pulisic and Conor Gallagher.
Would you not rather see an option to buy where getting a loan player, you never feel like you're going to build a foundation. It's always a bit temporary, and it reminds me the days of Rafa trying to wheel and deal and bring someone in for a season, and like you never really get the, I used to hate falling in love with the player and all that. They're going back like.
Matt Target last year, we got him on loan. Obviously, we signed him. I think it's different
as long as you got the deal that like to buy.
I think obviously having the clause to buy is probably for us the perfect scenario. But also it's Conor Gallagher isn't going to be wanted on a permanent basis by Chelsea. It's just not. Yeah. He just doesn't fit into how they want to play football. He's not that technically kind of play in their midfield.
Because even when he started on Sunday against Leeds, like, fair enough, he got absolutely battered. But then he was put in that holding position, which is deeper than where he wants to play. So he got some game time, but it wasn't his natural position. Whereas I think we would give him that role, because you'd probably imagine he'd play over Willock, wouldn't he?
Yeah, imagine it'd be sort of a bit of competition when Shelby's back. Mm-hmm. But he's not playing over Joe Linton, he's definitely not playing over Bruno. So it's but it's stacking up. It's building a squad so we can rotate. We can have
a substitution that makes an impact.
100%, yeah.
Because right now our go-to sub. Remember back in the day when Sven's substitution was always Owen Hargreaves on the 70th minute. Yeah. I feel like that's us right now with Longstaff. Like we've got nothing to do except bring on some extra legs in the midfield. And
because of how much the midfielder put work in against City, he didn't drop into the 6 and free Bruno up.
Yeah.
He just played as the 8, which doesn't get the best out of Longstaff, because I think he's although I do think he played well as further forward before, but it's certainly Bruno. I think what you'd like to do is free up Bruno to get him a bit more further forward. But obviously, when he's been chasing De Bruyne, Rodri, and Silva and all that for 90 minutes, he was hanging out. So it only makes it's an only impact sub if you impact him by freeing up Bruno.
Yeah.
But I think Conor Gallagher will be an absolute brilliant signing. I think a few others mentioned out with Chelsea. Jack Harrison, I read. I think it was maybe Craig Hope, maybe Luke Edwards, one of the Newcastle reporters, one of the papers, saying that was still conversations around Jack Harrison.
And Paqueta as well. There's still talks of.
It's totally ready and preparing, putting together.
I put out a tweet in preparing, think well, considering, in talks, and Aaron having a cup of tea. Like.
Yeah, and Aaron, that's what they do. But there is a deal there to be done, apparently. But but Jack Harrison, 3 assists in 3 games and a goal.
I don't think Leeds are going to want to sell him. They don't need to right now. They've got the cash and. Yeah, I can't see that one happening.
But if we were to do that deal, I would be absolutely delighted.
I am definitely swaying to when I first heard his name mentioned, I wasn't sure, but now I'm definitely.
He was Jaco Harrisino. He was playing in Spain. He'd be all over
that. Yeah.
Any others? Has any others mentioned? The Madison, apparently there's still 50 million tabled on the Madison, and that's still.
I think we're still going to turn some heads with 2 transfers.
I'm still thinking 2 after Joao Pedro.
2 after.
Yeah.
Hope you're right, man. Hope you're right.
I think we know we need to strengthen the midfield now. It might not be permanent signings. Yeah. I think we know we need to strengthen the midfield. I think we'll bring in either a forward or another sort of versatile wing player. We'll
wrap this up in a minute. So we've had Fraser, we've had